Hi there, welcome back to my channel Scrap and Coffee. In this video we are going to finish the Absolute Beginners mini album. So in the previous video we started decorating and I've kind of finished up the decorating off camera, but I showed you through most of the steps. The only thing that I've kind of started to mess up while I was decorating is with the inside covers, because the pages, they are all the same size, right? But the inside covers, we have to cut our pieces a little bit bigger, and not once but twice I messed up. When I did the front inside cover and when I did the back inside cover, I cut my piece to the wrong side. So please please don't do as I do, but do as I say. Measure twice before you cut your pieces. But even though I messed up, and I've kind of like on the back inside cover here, I pieced some things together. However, that's alright. I'm still on my first paper collection. Like I had 2 packs of this paper collection, but I'm still on my first, and I still have enough where I can actually do my cover. So I was planning on doing this paper on my cover. However, I changed my mind. I think I'm just going to go for this and do this with this one paper pack. We'll see how we go. So let me just quickly show you how I finished up all the pages. As you can see, I still have not attached them in here. We will be doing that together after I did the outside cover. So here we have, and let me check on my scrap pieces. Yes, so this is one paper where I used the back side of the paper for some contrast. So this is a little scrap piece of it. So basically I just wanted to introduce that pattern, but I didn't want to have too much of it. So I've cut a piece. What did I do here? This strip is about 1 inch. And then I did a strip that was 5/8 of an inch of the back, so I could turn it around, and then fill in the rest of the pocket with the front of the paper again. And here I used the back of the paper to go in the second layer of pockets here. This one we did together on camera. Still looking at how can I introduce this pattern in a little bit over here. But I finished up the inside. So I have the pattern here on the inside of the flap, and then also right there. So we can add photo mats on here. This one we did together in that first video. This we did together in the first video. Then the other side. I used that beautiful green. At first I thought I'm not going to use this pattern. But now that I use it, I'm actually happy that I did. It actually looks quite nice. And let me think, the back of this. Okay, so here I used, I want to say 3 different sheets. Trying to find a piece. Yes, because this had that blue on the back, so I haven't used that. Then I've used this pattern, which had these leaves on the back, which I haven't used. And then that greenish, like alcohol ink type of pattern had this on the back. So I combined 3 different papers on here. So when I open this up, so here I did do that strip to have this pattern come back here as well a little bit, but actually it was also because this of the green, it was a little bit too short, so I've kind of pieced some things together to make it work. And then we have this on the inside. So again, we can add photo mats on top of that. And I did the same thing with the magnets and my corner punch here. And then this is the last page where I already said, like, I had to piece in some things, but I think it works out pretty nice. Like, this is the one thing where I maybe didn't think about as much. I just see it right now when I look up in my camera. I said I have those patterns next to each other. Well, that is what it is. It's fine. So that is what I did so far on this album. So all the big areas are covered with pattern paper. I'm really sorry if you can hear that background noise, but yeah, not much that I can do to block that out. So now we are going to play a little bit on, well, a little bit. We are going to decorate the outside cover. And then I think we're going to put the pages in. and see, I will do some examples of some photo mats and maybe some embellishing here and there. So for the front cover, I was thinking I have this scrap piece, but I think it's a little bit too short, because if I'm going to stick this here, I need to fill in quite a big part. But that's alright, because I still have a whole sheet of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip out of this pattern. Because what I normally like to do on my albums, a look that I really enjoy, is when we wrap the cover with a piece of pattern paper. It makes the cover a little bit more stiff, but once you've opened and closed it a couple of times, that's fine. That will like become a little bit easier. But because it's a beginner version, I want to show you that you can create a very similar look in a beginner friendly way. So I'm going to cut, I think, 5/8 of an inch of this. So while I was decorating on my own, I got my little paper trimmer in, because it's just a little easier to cut the smaller strips on this one. So I'm going to line it up with the 5/8 of an inch. And now let's measure the height of the cover. So that's 8 1/4. So I will cut this strip to 8 1/8 of an inch. I can do that on this one as well, that's fine. So I just struggle with making this straight when I have to pull this thing out. 8 1/8 of an inch. And then we have that little piece there. So let's see how happy I am with this. That's a nice fit. So I will ink those edges and probably just glue it down, and then I will measure for this piece. So I'm trying to come up with something where, if you don't have a whole lot of materials, you can replicate the idea with the paper collection that you have, with the die cuts that you have. We'll see. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it, but sometimes that's something that I do a lot. Like I grab all these things that I have in my stash that I collected over the years and just use it on albums. And there's one thing that I'm considering on using that I found in my stash, and where I really don't even remember where I got it from. Okay, now some glue on this strip. Yeah, I'm just going to use wet glue. Sometimes I like to use my double-sided tape on these elements as well, but no, wet glue is just fine. Some wiggle time as well. Okay, I might just turn it sideways. So I'm just putting it just before the fold starts. I'm just lifting it so I can see what I'm doing, to where hopefully I'm straight. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and now I will measure. So I already know I need to have 8 1/8 of an inch in height. But what do we need in width? So I will just measure from the edge of the cardstock there up to the end of the cover, which is just over 7 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to cut a piece that's just under 7 5/8 of an inch by 8 1/8. So now this is not really directional, but I do want to have a little bit of a look of like what area of the paper would I like to use. Maybe this bit. So if I will do just under 7 5/8, that's 7 5/8, and I will just go under it. by 8 1/8. That looks pretty good in fits. I'm just going to commit to this. I'm just committing. We will see what we do on top, because I want to make it a bit more nice, right? So also where I have the double-sided tape, I put some wet glue, so I have some wiggle time. So if I stick down and I'm not happy about the placement, I can still lift it up and get it in place. Okay, maybe just put it flat on my work surface. This is what I was going to do. Sometimes it's easy to stand up, but I think what I will do is just place this little corner here. I hope that's in frame. Sometimes I'm a little bit low with where I put my pieces. And then get a nice straight edge here. And then that's all right. That's all right. Okay, I have a little bit more of black showing here on top. That's fine. I notice it. Other people that will look at your album probably don't even see that sort of stuff. Okay, now what we can do straight away, because I just know that I want to do it, is cover the spine. So the spine is just over 2 inches, like 2 1/8 if I measure like this. So I'm going to cut a piece 2 inches from that scrap piece that I've used for this. And then whatever is left, I will put on the back cover. That's a nice piece. Okay, so now we need to make sure that I use the right piece on the right spot. So that's 2 inches for here. And then the other piece I can use right here. So let's start with that spine piece, so I don't mix it up. Again, I might quickly go with my 1/4 inch tape. It's just something that I do. You don't necessarily have to. But I'm a creature of habit, and I just need to. I just have a need in my inside to do this. Now for this, I'll probably just hold it up a little bit. I hope you can see it. And just aim for straight edges and even borders. And burnish it in place. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to give some counter pressure with this. There we have it, and then we'll do the same thing with this back strip. I'm just going to put it in place, and we'll see later on if I'm going to cover the rest as well. But I also want to save some of my scraps to use on some photo mats, etc. So again, just place it in any way that works for you to get this on straight. There we go. So we've created now a blank base. Well, it's not blank, there is some pattern paper there, but where we can work on with some elements. So this is like, it's not completely the same as a wrapped spine, but it's a very similar look. Very similar look. So what I was thinking is to create a little bit of a square piece on here on the front cover. So I've already been like playing with a die that I have in my stash. Where did I put it? Here. So this is a square die set with a stitched, faux stitched edge, and I used the biggest one to get a black piece of cardstock here. But if you don't have it, something like that, you can also just cut a square piece to 3.5 by 3.5, or a little bit bigger, whatever you prefer, right? So I thought that might be a nice base there. And then I have some scrap piece options that I can use on the inside, like to get a little bit more pattern in here. Now this is a little bit too busy probably for me, and this I think is a little bit too white on top of the already white. I don't think this is going to work. Maybe this one, but now that we also have this piece, might also be nice to use that one there. So that is an option. And I also have this very beautiful greenish one. Let's see. And then from this paper I had a strip that said perfectly imperfect, and I thought that's fun. I'm going to save that. I cut it out to keep it like complete, those words, and I might just like cut around the words. And I have lots of butterflies from my die cut package that came with the collection. So first I thought like I want to have 3 butterflies, but that might be a little bit too big. And now if I use this blue, I want to have green butterflies, probably with a little bit more green in there. Do I have another one that's like really small? That's half one, that's really big. I don't want to be cutting that. No. Let's see, that scrap piece. Sorry, I have all these things going through my head, but what if I cut that one? If I fuzzy cut that one? That could work. I'm going to fuzzy cut these elements, see what we have from there. Alright, I've been preparing some pieces. So this little butterfly comes out of one of those pattern papers, that scrap piece. Let me put this to the side for a little bit. So I had that black piece of cardstock. Then I've got a piece out of this pattern to just over 3.25 by just over 3.25. That I'm just going to glue on there. I'm just going to use some wet glue to put that in place. So again, if you don't have any of these dies, you can just cut squares out of scrap pieces, right? You don't need these die cuts. I'm just going to burnish that on. And then out of that blue scrap piece that I had, I used the second size, the second largest, to punch out that piece. Or punch, I don't know how to say it, die cut it. This measures 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So I'm going to put that on top of this, but I think I know for sure I'm going to use some dimension on it. So I grabbed some foam adhesive and I'm just going for some simple options. Just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 1 in the middle. And I might want to add some wet glue to it. Yeah, they come off pretty easy. some extra security. The adhesive on the foam tape is not always the best, especially on the cheaper versions. So I'm just hoovering this as best as I can to get it straight. Something like that. So then I have these 3 butterflies, and I'm in doubt if I want to back them with some black cardstock and to get a black edge around them. Especially the smallest one, it's a bit flimsy. So I have that. Now another thing that I was thinking of using is I found it in my stash, and I'm not sure from what collection it is. I think it's from Kaiserkraft, but I'm not sure. But it's acetate with a print on it, and it has these film strips, and I thought maybe it's fun to use a piece of that film strip on here. Let's see, I'm just going to cut this with these big scissors. Oh, I started off with the bigger one, but I think I'm gonna go for the smaller version. I'm going to cut it down a little bit. See, 1, 2, let's even it out. Something like that. I don't know how am I going to glue this down yet. I have like 1/8 inch double-sided tape, but maybe in some spots where I think the butterfly will cover it. Doesn't need much. So if I would do it there, so I have this butterfly there, and then maybe like there and there. Okay, we'll see. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, to be honest. We'll see what we end up with. I'm placing this a little offset. I try not to overthink it. Somewhere there. And then these butterflies, I was thinking of maybe backing them with black cardstock, but I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Like I'm pulling up the wings a little bit. I'm just going to use glue for these. First I thought like maybe I'll pop them up, but no. So I only put glue like on that middle part. Try to even it out slightly. Oh, this is so not straight on there. That's okay. Let it overhang a little bit to the bottom. Just let it dry before oh, sorry, before I pull more on the wings. I like to make them come up a little bit more. Just the tiniest dot here. Something like that. And then I also have these leaves, which is, it's blue, almost purple. I feel like maybe we can add a little bit more detail with that, a little bit more layers. So if I think I'm going to do this at the bottom, behind. So something here. Just going to pop that up a little bit. Where's my other scissor? I'm not sure what I'm doing with my stuff. It's becoming, slowly but surely, it's becoming a bit of a mess here. And that one. Okay, so I'm just tucking this behind with a little bit of dimension. And then I was thinking the same thing with this one. A little lower, maybe. I don't want it like that, but then I have to cut this off a little bit. That's fine. Yeah, so I'll put one here. Let's see. That can be enough actually. Oh man, these tape backings, they are so difficult to get off. There we go. Okie doke. So just with some die cuts, like normally I would go like, oh, maybe I want to add some white string in there, or a different die cut. We kind of lost quite a bit of that film strip. That's okay with me. Now I have this, I cut it out, but I think maybe it's a little bit too much. It might be a little bit too much. Okay, let's continue with this. I feel like I'm making this video in bits and pieces. It's alright. I was working on this previously and I had to stop because there was a lot of background noise going on and it just didn't stop. So I just decided to continue on another time, and this is that other time. What I was playing with, because I don't hate it, but I'm not fully in love with this yet either. But I had this die cut in the embellishments pack, and I backed it with some foam adhesive, a double layer, and now I'm thinking to put it right here at the bottom. And I had another piece of this film strip that I feel like I might tuck it under here, but I need to cut it a little bit to get it how I want it. And I feel maybe I need to do a little thingy there. It feels a little bit off balanced, so I was thinking maybe I can what I wanted to try is to do a little tiny bit of stamping, and I tried it here on this scrap piece with some white ink and a text stamp. It didn't come to me, so just like really lightly. So I think I'm going to try it a little bit here. Preferably I would have done that before I stuck everything on, but we'll just see how I go. There is a slight chance that I'm completely ruining this. We'll see. But I have some white ink. This is from Lisa Horton Crafts, opaque white. And I have a stamp set from Stamperia. So what I might do is, can I lift these up a little bit to get some space? And I'm just doing this a little bit over here in the corner. And I'm a little bit distracted because my phone is going off and I need to have a look at it in a second. So without a stamp block, I'm just putting a little bit of detail there. Not too much. And then maybe I'll do this little corner here to echo it a little bit. See how I can make that work. Just the tiniest bit. And maybe there. That's enough. That's more than enough. We'll just leave it there. Okay, then I had this little strip that I wanted to tuck under here. But I have a little bit foam adhesive there, so I need to cut off a little bit. Just cut it a little bit at an angle, see how we go with that. Maybe a little bit more. Yes, something like that. So I will put a little bit of adhesive here on that bottom part. Making sure that we don't see that if I stick that down. No, that will be fine. So I'm just sticking it out here a little bit on an angle. There we go. And then I'm still coughing a little bit. It's getting better though, but every now and then. And then I was thinking maybe this one here. Yeah, Looks fun. I just feel like I'm overthinking it all, so just go with it. I had a few days to look at it since I stopped filming when I was working on it. And sometimes it's good to step away from something and then come back to it. And then look at it with a fresh set of eyes. Okay, I'm just putting on some extra glue there for security, because these are not the best foam adhesives. So I'm thinking something like that. Now I did some of that stamping there, that's going to be covered up, that's alright. It's still in the background, it all adds to the layers. Just have those wings come up slightly. These cannot go up too much, but that's alright. Lovely. Okay, that's not too bad. So we just made a little bit of a cluster thingy there to decorate our cover. So this will go on here for our cover. But before I stick this on, I think it's better to first place the pages in the album. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to make sorry, I'm going to make some space and get our pages in. So I opened up the book. Now I need to get these back in order because I've been messing with it a little bit. This one and this one, and then this is the last one. So what I do is I get them in order, and then this is the first page, this is the last page, and I'm starting with the last page. So I'm putting this like somewhere where I can reach it. I'm just grabbing that last page, so I'm going to start with this hinge. That's just something that I prefer, that works for me easily. Now when I made the cover and the hinge, and you saw that video, you noticed that I recut the hinge a little bit, because I was just having the tiniest strip of that double-sided tape sticking out. And just to make sure that that wasn't going to be a problem, I re-tapered the hinge slightly, and I did that for all four just to make sure that they go on properly. So it's going on like this. The binding is going to be on this side, so I'm going to stick my hand into the tunnel on the opposite side. So we're just making sure that we find that tunnel, and this is going to be towards the back cover, and this is what I'm going to see when the hinge is going this way. I hope that all makes sense. Sometimes I just feel like maybe it's better to talk less. So I'm just giving it another dry fit to make sure that it all fits nicely. Now it's a really nice fit after I recut that. So I'm happy with that. So that's before I remove any tape backing. That's what I do. Now I'm going to remove the tape backing on this side. And again, put my hand, I'm going to do the same thing, only this time I'm going to stick it down. So making sure that we are in the right spot. I'm pushing down on this hinge slightly, so my double-sided tape doesn't stick straight away. And if you feel safer to put on some wet glue there, you can. So I'm sliding it on, and at some point you just stop, because that's where your taper starts. And then we are going to give this side a nice burnish. So I opened up my flaps. I give that a really good burnish. I'm going to close this again. Flip it over to the other side, and now I'm going to remove the tape backing on this side. So a tool like something like this where you can peel that tape backing away with is very useful, and give that a good burnish as well. So that's our first page on here. Now I'm going to do the same thing with page number 3. So again, I'm going to make sure that it's all in the right orientation. I'm going to stick my hand in the tunnel. I'm going to give it a quick dry fit, but I'm pretty sure it should be fine because I recut it. There we go. Remove that tape backing. And again, I'm pushing on it a little bit. Now that this is getting a little bit trickier with every page we put on, because we have the bulk of the previous page underneath. And that's why I like to work from this side, is because if I do that on the other side, that's a little bit trickier for me. And then here, remove this tape backing and give that a good burnish. Next one, so it's going to be like this. Quick dry fit. And now there is not a lot happening on these pages, so it's quite easy to find that tunnel part of the page. It's not heavy, it's quite easy to get them on there. For a second, for a split second, I thought I didn't turn on my camera. And I was like, oh my goodness, what if I didn't turn on my camera? But I did. Okay, last one. So this is the only one where we don't have like matching patterns yet. But I have an idea. Oh, we don't need that right now. Okay, but let's first put this on and then we'll talk about it. I'm going to give this one a dry fit as well. I'm not completely happy with that one, and that's why we dry fit and dry fit again. I need to recut that a little bit. So just making sure that I'm not going in the score line, but I need to be able to go down a little bit further. There we go, much better. Okay, so now you see how this bulk is like adding up. Maybe it's hard to see on camera from the bird view point of view, but the pages are still lying flat, but like there is like bulk there, what makes it a little bit harder. See, this is going way flatter to like really get it nice and straight on the hinge. So you make sure you take your time. And there we have it, all the pages are in. So let's put that thingy on the front cover. A thingy. If I don't have a name for it, it's a thingy. So now, preferably, I would put some double-sided tape on here, but because it's quite some layers, I might just use wet glue. Yeah, or do I want to give it a little bit of extra dimension? What if? I'm not going to use that whole sheet, but what if? That's actually nice. So we can do that. We can absolutely do that. I think I'm going to use some black. Just the black. Just. Sometimes what I also do is use scrap pieces of chipboard if I want to create dimension on my cover, just because it's a little bit more sturdy. I'm not being spare with the foam adhesive now. I want to give it a pretty okay coverage. And last one. And then I'm going to remove all these tape backings. Now I'm pretty confident these are really good adhesive foam dots. What are they called? Foam squares. So no wet glue needed, unless I want to have some wiggle time to get it straight, but we'll see. I might regret my choices here, but okay, all of those are removed. Now, I might stand up for this so I can have a better view. For being straight. I think I'm going to aim for the middle. Or maybe a little bit to the top. Somewhere there. Somewhere there, yes. Just carefully push on it a little bit. There we go. That's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. I also had this from Stamperia. I bought it recently. Contour. I see Vicky use it a lot, which I really like. So I might add some dots on here with it. But I'm thinking about it. One more thing that I want to go through with you guys in this video is some photo mats. We have a few options. I stole photo mats from the original album that I made just to sorry, to put in here. And I used several sizes. Now I have like, I do a black cardstock of my scrap cardstock, and then I put a piece of white on here. The white is for me representing the photo. Now this is, yes, removable, because I used a glue stick from Scotch, which is restickable adhesive. So if I would give this to somebody, they can remove the white cardstock and replace it with a photo. I just do it because it looks better in the videos if I have something in there. It shows how much bulk I have in the album. If you are putting in your photo straight away, you don't need this white cardstock. Yeah, it's not a necessity. So I have this fun stamp. I found this one recently here in Australia from Uniquely Creative, I think it's called. So love that. So I'd like to put a little photo stamp on there sometimes. So for example, this is the black cardstock here, measures just under 3¼ by just under 4¼ and then I have a 3x4 photo on here. So I have several of those, which will fit really nice in these smaller pockets. I also have photo mats. So this is for a 6x4 photo, like a regular sized photo. And then the black cardstock is just under 4¼ by just under 6¼ they can go in like in the bigger pockets. I have, this is one of my favorite photo sizes, a 3½ by 5. So the black cardstock would be just under 3¾ by just under 5¼ This one fits really nicely in these pockets as well, in the smaller ones, or in the belly band pockets. But we can also do something else here, like tags, etc. So I have a lot to fill this up, but I also wanted to show you some of the bigger or the odd sizes that I've used. And maybe we can make one for under this belly band here together. Like this size maybe. Hey Maeve.
Hey.
Are you coming to have a look? Mommy's making a video. You want to sit on the bed or on the couch here?
Stay here.
You can stay here, but your volume has to be completely down, yeah? I can't hear the sound of your iPad, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. So we can make one of these together. This is of course not matching with this pattern paper, but I also had like this example. So I have two 3½ by 5 photos on here. So this black cardstock measures, what did I do? 7 5/8, maybe a little over 7 5/8 by just under 5¼ And then I've put like 2 photos on here, a little strip of pattern paper with an embellishments. It's a fun size photo mat as well. So I don't do anything on the back, but if you have enough pattern paper or you want to add another photo on the back, you can, of course. And this tag, I will show you, this tag I made for the other stack pocket on the belly band. Right here, because it's a bit of a smaller pocket, but high. I thought it was fun if it sticks out a little bit. I feel like I've glued this shut. Oh no. Oh no. I need a little something. Ah, there we go. I was just not getting under it. It's not glued shut, luckily. So this can fit in here nicely. So what I did for this tag is a piece of cardstock that measures just under 3¾ by just under 7¼ I did a 3½ by 5 photo on here and filled in the spaces with some pattern paper. I angled the corners, and you can, of course, you can make a hole and make an actual tag out of it. I just never got to it, or just couldn't be bothered. I don't know, but I didn't do it. So that's a really fun size to put in here as well. So I thought, let's make one of those big ones together. This one to go behind here, and we'll use some of this pattern paper scrap pieces on there. So put this to the side. Let me get a measurement. So these photo mats I made to just under 7¼ I guess square by just under 7¼ so you can use it in both directions. So let's get a piece of black cardstock. So I need a new sheet of cardstock for this. Now my measurements are just not in camera, which is alright. That's alright. I'm just go to the 7 1/4, and then I go 1 tick mark back to just be under that 7 1/4. And then I'll turn it and do that again. And then I also need some white. And I will cut a photo mat 7 by 5. And normally, if I make 7 by 5 inch photo mats, I will do the pinwheel technique. I just not right now. I have videos for that on my channel as well. So you can get a little bit more out of your paper. But if I have this size photo mat, I can easily fit like that photo on here and a piece of pattern paper. I can place it in the middle. I can do 2 smaller photos. I can play with it. Now we also use that corner punch on that page, and I was thinking it would be fun to have that come back on my photo mat. So I'm talking about this shape. So again, we have a few options. I can do all 4 corners, but then if I want to place my photo here, I also need to use it on my photo. Now if I would make this for myself, that's not a problem, but if you are gifting it to somebody who still needs to put in their own photos, that might be a problem because they might not have that punch. So we can do either only the 2 corners where we do the pattern paper, or we place a photo in the middle and we do pattern paper on 2 sides. So what I might do is I might offset it a little bit. That might be fun. Just play with it. Nothing has to be, it can be however you like it to be, of course. So now I need to go through this pile of mess and find that pattern paper. See it somewhere? Here we go. I have this scrap piece. So I was thinking to maybe cut a piece of 5/8 of an inch and then see what we need on the other side. Or 1/2 inch. I'll go 1/2 inch. And that needs to be by 7, and then I'll see later what I need on the other side. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, my youngest daughter is here with me, so she likes to talk. So that's all right. So I'm just going to do all 4 corners, and just make sure that it's not a problem in the future with photos, right? So just use that on all 4, and then I will also do this one. Now, if you have a small strip like this, it's a bit tricky to get that properly. So I'll just give it my best. Or you do the corner punch first and then you cut your 1/2 inch. Let's see what we get here.
Toilet, Mama. Mommy, I'm going toilet.
That's fine, honey. Not too bad. I'm quite happy with how that turned out, so I'm going to give that a little bit of ink.
Mama, I'm just going to fix this thing up so I don't have to be too cold.
Sure, honey. Just try to align it for a nice border all around. Now again, that's a little bit trickier because we only have the 3 sides to look at, so you're a bit off quicker, and it's just something we have to accept sometimes. Where's my bone folder? Somewhere under my pile of photo mats. There. Now this photo mat I can leave as one big photo mat, because even though I want to have 2 smaller photos there in the future, I can still do that because I can remove this. Yeah, so I'm just going to do the big one. Now I'm thinking, do I have my black, that's a really thin one. Maybe I'll see if this one works. Not great. Like normally I like to do a little doodle on my photo mats, but I don't see my black marker that I use for it. I don't know what I did with it. That's okay. Quick look in here.
Back, Mommy.
Well done, honey.
I flushed the toilet.
Okay, thank you. Now everybody knows that you flushed the toilet. Okay, we'll just leave it without. I'll do a stamp on there. the stamp set also comes with measurements. I'm not sure if the 7x5 is in there, but I could do that as well. I'm going to put some of this restickable glue on there. And it doesn't need a whole lot. And I'm just going to line that one up. I will just have to come back for my black lines because it looks a bit empty like this. And now I will measure what is left here. So I have 1.5. So I'm going to cut it to 1 3/8. Okay, so again I will do that corner punch. Now this is a bit of a wider piece, so that should be a little easier. Yep, some ink, and we can glue that down. And then basically your photo mat is done. But of course you can add an extra embellishment on there. I can have a look for some wording or a butterfly or something. But because this is going behind that belly band, personally I prefer to keep it somewhat flat. If I know that it's sticking out on one side where you can add some dimension, you can. Yeah.
Why are you doing a video? Tell me why.
Because that's what I do sometimes, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, let's put that in place.
Sometimes. Right?
Right. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Where? Don't stand on it. So this is basically a very basic photo mat that we can place behind here. Shh. Please put that back, that's sharp, honey. So it would be behind like this, the photo is sticking out a little bit. If you don't prefer that look, you know, then you, I would say, make a different layout. But now we have that pattern coming back, which is nice. I'm going to do something to make that pattern come back here as well. We can add more into these pockets just to bring it to life. I think I might make some tags to go in here. But let's see if we want to add a little bit of an embellishment on this photo mat. So I have quite a few things lying around.
Wow. Mama?
Yeah?
Could I color?
You can color on that, sure. But you need to get your own colors, not mommy's.
Okay.
So I can do a butterfly. We can do some of this because that's coming in the pattern. Sorry, I'm a bit messy over here. It's terrible. I need to clean up. This could be nice with we can add this to it. No, just something on that little photo mat there. I can back this with some black cardstock. I might. But then I feel like maybe I want to have some white twine behind it. So I feel like I might need to play with this a little bit. And I might do that off camera because. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stick something like this down. Make sure when you glue things down that you don't glue it on the photo mat, only on the ends here, so you can still put that photo mat under. I just feel like I might want to add a little bit of white twine. Maybe I can find a enamel dot to put under there, just to build a little bit of, not too much dimension like I said, because it's going behind the belly band, but just to make it a little bit more fun. So that's what I'm going to do. Then what I was thinking, like right here, for example, I'm playing with the idea of creating a little pocket for a little tag in there. To
Milo's upstairs. Milo! Milo.
Just leave him. Okay? Just leave him, okay? But this is the idea that I have. I might make some shorter videos. Like creating that little pocket here for some embellishments, like creating a little cluster here, creating a tag to go in one of the pockets, just like a sort of I don't know, embellishment videos for your albums. So instead of doing it now in one long video, I'm thinking I'm going to make some shorter, like my type of short will probably be like 20 minutes, but videos where we create elements for for our albums. So I hope you you like that idea. So I would just say, like, play with what you have in your collection. Create some photo mats, create some things to put in here, to put your photos in here, and just finish up your album. I think it's turning out really nicely. I will continue a little bit with this. I might do a final project share, quick flip through video, but like I said, I am thinking of making videos of some other elements as well. So I'll see how I'll go. I have to make some decisions. But for now, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the album and how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed the tutorials. It was really focused more for beginners. But then again, I can't help myself with sharing all the ideas that popping up in my head. But that's why they were a little bit longer. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.